In a world where you start to lose sleep over your sleep tracker, there's only one thing you can do.
Now, you didn't really think I'd be that morbid, did you? What's up, friends? And welcome back to my channel. So, you know the old saying, if a tree falls in the forest but no one's around to hear it, does it really make a sound? Well, if a biohacker goes to sleep without a tracker on, does it even count? Now, that's a joke, obviously, I think. But there is a dark side to the wearable industry. And so by the end of this video, if I do my job right, you should hopefully walk away with a couple of key takeaways on how you can get the most value from whatever tracking device you're using without having that negative relationship to go along with it. Now, before we dive into all those solutions, let's get to the heart of the problem that I have, and perhaps many of you also have, with health trackers. Once your fill-in-the-blank routine, whether that be sleep or fitness, maybe glucose monitoring, once that routine becomes consistent enough, well, the tracker that you've been using to measure all that stuff suddenly becomes much less useful, maybe even irrelevant. And so at this point, you should probably take off the tracker for, a short period of time. But the reality is, you probably don't. And why is that? Well, I do think the answer is kind of twofold. For one, there is this idea of the sunk cost fallacy. It's better to just keep the tracker on because you've already invested so much of your time, probably energy, and of course money into it. And then there's the second thing, which is tribal instinct. I mean, maybe you bought this device because you saw MKBHD review it and you love him a lot. Or someone who knows you really well said, hey, I think you're gonna love it. Try it. Now, regardless of the why you actually got it, at the end of the day, it is our primal instinct to stay connected to the tribe. And so if all your heroes and all your friends are wearing these trackers, they're obsessing about them, they're sharing their stats, they're posting it on Instagram. I mean, guys, it's kind of obvious. You will be excommunicated, like old school papal style, if you choose to take yours off. So don't do it. Worse yet, people might think you're unhealthy, that you don't give a shit about your sleep or your fitness goals, because if what you measure matters, but you aren't measuring anything, well then nothing really matters to you, right? It is so frustrating to think at some point, maybe multiple times, I said that stupid phrase, what you measure matters, in a video probably, or a podcast or something like that. Not really thinking about its potential effects that it might have on my own subconscious, maybe yours, and what would actually happen if we stopped tracking things altogether. And honestly, it wasn't until after literally taking off every single tracker for a couple of months that I was able to fully take a step back and recognize just how much of my own identity and my beliefs around being healthy, being a reviewer, being a biohacker, all of these things were inextricably tied to a couple of these devices. Now, I'm certainly not saying this is the case for everyone. And I have a number of friends in the space who have what I would consider a very normal and healthy relationship with these devices. And my God, I hate them, especially you, Kyle. They don't check their stats first thing in the morning upon waking while still having their pillow kind of half over their head, freaking out if their sleep score was dipping below an 80 that day. They probably think to themselves, maybe I should go cancel all my meetings, because if I try and show up in the world today with such a low sleep score, well, I am not going to be the sharpest tool in the shed. Not speaking from experience or anything. But the truth of the matter is, I did not have a great relationship with my trackers. I obsessed over my stats. I wasted so much time and energy just thinking about why my HRV score was so low that week. What did I do wrong? I tried to go back in time and, honestly, I think it just probably perpetuated the problem even more. So there's also that. Or there were probably a handful of times that I was going to go for a run, but my Apple Watch died and I was like, well, why run if you can't track? I admit, now, looking back, that sounds crazy, but I can't take that back now. It is out there in the public. Nor would I want to take it back anyway, because it's the truth. And maybe you can relate. Maybe it's happened to you, or maybe it's happening to someone close to you. So what is it that we can do? Because there are some solutions. And number one, mindset. I think it's very important to realize that despite what Oura or any of the other wearable companies out there want you to believe, well, theirs is not the one ring to rule them all. It's not like you put on the device and you're instantly possessed. I mean, obsessed. It is a gradual build over time, but the longer you commit to the tracker without any break, the harder it is to take it off, just like any habit or routine or addiction in life. Which is why I would highly recommend that you maybe plan out a couple of week-long or even month-long breaks from your tracker throughout the year. Put it on your calendar, especially if you're the kind of person who gets a big old dopamine hit every time you even think about checking your stats. And don't look at this as like you're punishing yourself. Think of it like freedom. Think of it like a family vacation to the Bahamas, or paid time off from work, maybe even some relaxing jury duty. I'm just kidding on the last one. Although jury duty could be fun. I don't know. Haven't done it. Anyway, moving on. Another thing I've also tried, which has helped me a lot and is so ridiculously simple, it's almost like, why am I saying this? But I think it's often overlooked. So here we go. Just don't check your stats until the end of the day. There is no golden rule saying you have to check it first thing in the morning upon waking. That is some ridiculous construct that we've created. So don't do it. Just stop. And that also means mute all those notifications having anything to do with any of your trackers, just so you aren't tempted to open the app willy-nilly throughout the day. I also found that just putting like 16 hours or so of distance between me and my brain and that sleep score from the previous night, it just helped me detach fully from all the data. I was able to then look at it more clearly with better introspection and actually draw some good correlations from my scores, not just kind of go into that flight or flight thinking that my whole day was ruined. Heck, I would even go so far as to do something crazy, which is remove that tracker's bookmarked app on your home screen, because I know it's there. I know that it's staring you square in the face every time you open up your phone. You don't need that temptation. Out of sight, out of mind. And if you're the type of person like me who needs a little bit of extra help on the willpower front, because you know that it's really hard to go through your day when you know you can actually check it, well, maybe look into something like using one of the screen time features on your phone, because this will help you limit your time on certain apps that might be triggering. I'll include a little bit of a tutorial down below if you have an iPhone. I'm sure this is also available on Android. I know it's extreme, but hey, this is type A we're talking about. And there is a reason that certain features like this exist. So gosh, use it to your advantage and set up some basic time constraints to help keep yourself accountable. Okay, so now that we talked about putting on the tracker, taking off the tracker, when do you put it back on? If at all? Well, the choice is yours. It's very personal. But I'd say if you still love the tracker, a great rule of thumb would be maybe put it back on as you're going through a lifestyle shift or an experimental phase, starting a new supplement. Maybe you're changing up your diet, you're starting a new fitness routine, or you're traveling, you're moving. These are great times, especially when you do an overnight flight from the West to the East Coast. Oh my God, best time ever to see what your sleep scores look like. But ultimately, I think it's so important that we remember what are the trackers at the end of the day? They are just tools. One of hundreds of different tools out there at your disposal that you can use to help you measure your own progress over time. And the best part is they can help you make sense of what's working in your life versus what's not. So if you love doing the experimental stuff, take some time to try out that new CBD oil you saw on Instagram. See if it actually helps improve your REM sleep before bed. Just have fun with it, but make sure that you're also giving yourself enough time to fully vet these things to really see if that juice is worth the squeeze. And so typically, I aim for somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks to fully experiment with whatever new habit I'm testing out. And I do my best to try and keep the rest of my routine consistent. Definitely not throw too many things into the mix. But let's face it, life happens. Experiments, we try to make them great, but they aren't perfect. So don't beat yourself up over it either. This is very much a reminder to myself, but maybe this will apply to you too. But at the end of the day, just do your best. Listen to your body because it is way smarter than that algorithm out there anyway. And in closing, I will say, yes, I did take a very hefty 2.5-month break from all things tracking, and I felt really good. But I'm putting the trackers back on, baby, because guess what? There are a lot of new products coming into town. I got a lot of routines I'm testing out. I am incredibly excited to share everything with you guys in the next few months. So keep it locked and loaded and dialed in and all the things here to this channel. You don't have to keep watching this channel the entire time. You can go out and do other things in your life, and then come back here, and I'll come back here. We'll all reconvene. Anyway, I have to go. I mean, you guys probably have to go too. We all should probably leave. So until next time, I cannot wait to catch you guys on the next one. Also, make sure to follow my dog on Instagram. I don't care if you follow me, but he is ridiculously adorable. Kona type A. No, I did not birth him. Yes, I love him. He is, he's pretty much me, except he's sleeping right now.